Alright, now we're going to look into writing folders and files. So Linux is a file-based system, so everything is a file, including a folder. And I won't get into that too much, but when you do, like when we were doing our lists, it reads everything as a file, including our directory. So if I go back one directory and take a look, it shows that this file here has a D in the front. This is something that you should keep an eye out, especially if you're looking for directories. Now, Ubuntu, of course, makes this really easy to spot a directory because it has some color coding, and some other distros are going to have similar benefits. But in some cases, when you don't have a GUI and you just have a terminal and it's not color coded, this is a good way to spot directories and files. So anyways, to go back here, we're going to take a look at that email list that we were working on in the previous video. So there's a couple of different editors that you might use. Some of you like using GUIs. You would use gedit to edit your file. So it pulls up like kind of like a notepad. As you can see here, I mean, it works just like a notepad. So you can do Frodo at lordoftherings.com, and you can save it and close it. And when I do that and I cat the file, you can see that it added that entry in there. Now the problem is that sometimes when you're on a terminal-based Linux machine and it doesn't have a GUI interface, a gedit won't come up. So in some instances, this command won't be useful for you. Another one that is popular is nano, and this is basically like a terminal-based text editor. So you can make changes here pretty easily as well. And down here, you'll see that there's a list of commands that helps you basically. It's kind of like a legend. So in this case, I'm going to exit the file, and when I do that, it'll ask you to save, and you can hit Y, and it'll save it for you. So you hit enter, there you go. And now when we cat that same file, there's our change right there. Now, as far as text editors go, I'm always going to encourage you to use Vim. And there's a lot of reasons why. And one of them I actually showed in the previous video. So when I was using Vim to make quick copies, it's extremely simple to do this. Now, Nano has some of its own features, but when it comes down to a better editor, I feel like Vim is going to have an edge. So just like in video games use the WASD keys for navigation. Now, Vim has something similar set up, but it uses JK or HJKL. So if I'm over here and you can see my cursor, and I hit H, it goes to the left. If I hit K, it goes up. If I hit L, it goes right. And let's see, I missed one here. J. J goes down. So back in order, H is left, J is down, K is up, L is to the right. And it takes a little bit of practice, but it took me about a week to really adjust to it because it's just so different. But you'll find that there's a lot of apps out there that use HJKL. Like for example, you'll find other text editors that will copy Vim, but that's not the only thing that it's used for. So the navigation, I mean, you're probably thinking, oh, I can just use arrows. Thing is that let's say that I wanted to copy this list from Iron Man down to Gandalf. Well, if I know the amount of lines that are there, and you can see down here, it'll tell you what line you're on, 17, and it's 22. So that's going to be 6 entries. So what I can do is I can hit the number 6 and then do YY for yank. See, it says right there on the bottom, 6 lines yanked. So that means that if I hit P for paste, it will paste all those entries that I was looking to capture. And actually I captured a little bit more than I was looking for, but you kind of get the point. So it looks like it was actually 5 entries, so we can do that again. 5, so 5 lines yanked, we hit P, and it pastes those lines. And of course, let's say that I didn't want this particular line here, hacker at hacksword.net. You can hit DD for a delete line. It'll delete it. And as you probably guessed, you can actually hit a number and then do DD. Like for example, if I wanted to delete 5 lines, I can hit 5 and then DD. And it removes those 5 entries that I just pasted. This becomes relatively handy in making changes. And there's other little commands that you can use to navigate more quickly. So if I was at the top here in the second line and I wanted to go down 18 lines, for example, to the 20th line, I would just hit 18J and it'll take me to the 20th line. As you can see here, it's on the 20th line. And if I wanted to go back, I'll just do 18, or I'm sorry, let's see, 18, and then I'll do K, and it'll take me right back up to line 2. So this is really handy. There's other ones where you can skip to the bottom of the page, go to the top of the page, go to the end of the line, go to the beginning of the line, and you can, if you go to like the end of the line, you can assert, so you can go forward and make changes, delete using X. There's just so many different things that you can do, but there is a learning curve to it. Like in order to make changes, for example, let me get back in here. If I wanted to make changes, I would have to hit certain buttons. Like for example, if I wanted to start a new line under Gandalf, I would hit O to get underneath it and then start typing. And then I'll have to hit escape once I'm done, hit colon, and then W for write, and that'll save the file. And you can do also Q for quit. If I cap that file, there is a there's that change right there. It removed it. So it's kind of a quick touch on Vim. It may not look impressive right now, but it's heavily used in the industry. A lot of people use Vim. They use it for programming and for compiling programs. I may have a couple of programs in here, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see that I'm in system programming, for example. And yeah, here's like some of the files that I made. So you see there's the .c file there. I can cat really quick and show you what that looks like. You know, there's this little program there. And when you compile that program, it creates a an executable. So if I cat that particular file, you're going to see that it's yeah, it's all ASCII, or at least a lot of it is. So that's all like binary, basically. Binary text is what I meant to say. So those are going to be your primary text editors. Some other things you probably should know is making directories. So if we wanted to put all these like email lists into like an email directory, mkdir, it's make directory. So if I do an ls, there is my directory, the email directory. And if I wanted to move like one of my email lists in there, basically you would put the file first and then point it to where you want to take it. So in this case, I want to take it to email. When I do an ls, it's now gone. And if you go into email, there it is. It's pretty simple. Another thing that move does, you can actually use this for renaming files. So I can say, well, you know, I don't like, you know, email being lowercase, so I'm gonna make it like this and make it look a little bit more professional. So when I do my ls, there you go. It just renamed my file. Of course, you can move multiple files What I would probably do in this instance, you can do this, for example, email list 3, and then point it to email. A better way of doing this, especially when they have similar letters, is do a wildcard. So email list and point it to email, and you'll see there that the files are gone. If I go into the email directory, there you go. It's all right there. And let's say that you're going to work on your 4th email list, but you don't have the time to really populate it, but you want to put a file in there so you can remind yourself, like, okay, I got to get to this file. Let me go ahead and just create the file really quick, and I'm going to get back to it. So there's a command called touch, and basically what you can do is put the name of the file that you want and hit enter, and it doesn't go into the editor, it just creates the file. So even if I cap the file, there's not really anything in it, so nothing returns. That's a quick way of just creating a if you need to make like a test file or anything like that. But let's say in this case, let me go ahead and clear this directory. I'm going to move these lists back a directory. So as you know, this is ... takes you to the back directory. So like it got every one of them except the email list. So I'm just going to move that guy as well and put him in the previous directory. And I go back, all my files back where they started, and I want to remove that directory. So there's rmdir, which is remove directory, and you put the name, and it removes it. It takes it out of the way for you. So this is just a couple of things about writing, creating folders, writing to files, doing some editing, renaming files, and that kind of thing. Anyways, I hope that was helpful to you. Next, we are going to talk about troubleshooting.